Hello and happy Veterans Day. I want to say first off, thank you to all of our servicemen and women for all that you've done in sacrifice for our country today. And we've got a good forecast for you for any events you may be heading out to. It is a little windy, but it's not as cold as it was when we were dealing with the cold blast that came in this weekend, that first taste of winter. We're recovering from that, but it does come with some wind. So let's get into our headlines here as we're heading into the forecast for today. We're looking at that warmer afternoon, looking at some breezy weather. That is going to continue to be a factor for us. Through Friday, though, we do have mostly sunny conditions for the most part. I can't rule out, a couple of hours of clouds moving through, and that's especially going to be the case in the northeast. We'll take a look at that for today coming up. By the time we get to Friday, the wind is back, and it's going to be stronger. So be ready for a windy day as we warm up ahead of our next system. And this weekend, we are watching out for some isolated shower chances coming up here. So let's take a look at our forecast on this Veterans Day. We're going to be seeing temperatures in Fargo getting into some 40s by the time we're into the afternoon hours. We'll be in the upper 40s. We could even see 50 for places in the Southern Valley, so that's a possibility. And you can see the sunny skies we have in store until that sun sets, of course, now before 5 o'clock. We'll still be on the clear side, which is a good thing given what I've got in the forecast for us for later tonight. So we're going to talk about that coming up. So wind, it has picked up. We're looking at places where we've got gusts into the 20s. Grand Forks a gust to 28. We're looking at 32 in Langdon. Steady speeds about 10 to 20 miles per hour, though there are a couple of places where that steady wind is actually topping that. And in general, just kind of dealing with a bit of a breeze here today. And it's turning northwesterly behind the system that moved through that brought us the warmer air. You can see that the freezing line is off to the east, that white line there. And temperatures are into the upper 30s to some mid 40s right now. We're already at 44 in Fargo and in Grand Forks. So there's a good possibility we hit 50 in Fargo here for today. Sisseton is very close. We're at 49. So looking at some warming temperatures here heading into midday. We've got wind chills, though, that are a factor. The freezing line there, again, that's plotted from the computer. That's why it looks kind of funky. It's really just literally plotting where that 32-degree mark is. So it can look a little squiggly when we've got temperatures right around that freezing range for a lot of spots. But anywhere below freezing is shaded in blue, where it feels like we're below freezing, I should say, with that wind chill. It still feels above freezing in the south. So a slight bite to that warm up with the wind, but not too bad right now. And radar satellites showing dry conditions. You can see that we do have some areas of clouds up around Winnipeg, back over to Baudette, Bemidji, and so this is going to kind of drive to the south and east. So this is an area in the valley where we're more likely to be cloudy. So, I've been talking about a sunnier forecast. Unfortunately, that's not going to be an all-day thing for you in these areas. I'm hoping we're getting some breaks and getting some peaks of sun, at least in every area here, before we see that next push of clouds. And then other spots more likely clear and sunny here. So let's take a quick look at our hour-by-hour planner. Not much to show other than some clouds passing by. You can see by 3 p.m. That cloud cover is still hanging around places like Baudette and Bemidji. And unfortunately, because the sun sets so early now, we don't get a good chance to recover and see the sun before sunset in those areas. But it does clear out, and that'll be a good thing because we have an opportunity at seeing some northern lights tonight. I'll show you our aurora forecast here in just a moment, but you can see by the time we get into the 8 o'clock hour, we're on the clear side in a lot of spots, a few passing clouds in the north. 11 p.m., oftentimes you want to kind of think about local midnight, which right now it is midnight. For the peak of aurora, but they can happen earlier than that, of course, as soon as it's dark. So this is something we may get to see. And then heading into the overnight hours, we stay mainly clear as we move into tomorrow morning. And that, again, sets us up for a milder day tomorrow. Again, here's the forecast for this afternoon. We're looking at around 40 in the northeast to some low 50s in the south and west. Sisseton, Oaks, Wahpeton. Looking like we're going to get into the 50s. Those pink numbers on the map, these are your wind chills. We're bringing those back now. Not going to use them every day until we get into that point where they're needed every day. But today, just to note that it's going to feel a few degrees colder than the actual air temperature, but we're still warmer than this weekend. And here's that aurora forecast. So this comes from NOAA. And this is tonight's aurora forecast according to NOAA. And so we're just going to zoom in a little bit more. And this is what we can expect as we head into the late night hours tonight. We've got a pair of solar flares that have happened, and they've sent energy earthbound. It's directed at the Earth, so there's a forecast or a watch for a geomagnetic storm, and that can trigger auroras. And it could happen as early as tonight. Next couple of nights we'll need to watch out. But for tonight, you can see where we've got this red line here, this red line, that is the cutoff line, the view line. So where we're south of that in the country, they're less likely to be able to see it. But north of the line, that's where we're able to see the northern lights. And the farther north you are, the better chance you have. And so you can see we're in the red here, which means a greater likelihood. Here's our scale here, going from green to red. So red means a greater likelihood of seeing aurora in northern Minnesota and northern North Dakota especially, but even in the southern valley too, there's that possibility. So bundle up. It is going to be windy for tonight as we've got those wind gusts continuing to peak in the 20s. We've got some of our strongest gusts during the afternoon hours today into the 30s, and then heading into tonight, they come down a little bit, but still on that brisk side. It's still going to create that wind chill factor for anybody who's outdoors. And that wind becomes a little more westerly tonight too. Let's take a look at our extended planner next 7 days. Today, again, for Veterans Day, looking pretty good. It's just going to be breezy to go with that warm up. And then heading into Wednesday, the wind still a little bit brisk in the morning, but it starts to come down. And Thursday right now looks quiet. It looks like one of, I would say, our most pleasant day of the work week because it's going to be warmer and it's going to be less windy. And we'll still have some sunshine. Friday, you can see we get significantly warmer, but that is when we're looking out for an increase in wind again ahead of our next system. And so just keeping an eye on that one. That would be more Friday night and into Saturday that we're watching for. If you can see it there, the icon's kind of small, that chance for some showers, potential for rain showers coming up on Saturday. But right now it looks like that system's going to stay, more farther north, the core of it, the low, and we're just going to get the front sweeping through. But still, there is that possibility for rain with the initial push, and then perhaps behind the low, a little bit of wraparound light snow in places in the northeast again on Sunday and Sunday morning specifically. And then Sunday, we're kind of stepping back our temperatures after being mild on Saturday. Sunday's not bad, but it's just coming down from that. And then as we work our way into next week, we're right at average. Today's average high is 40, and that goes down over time as we head through the month of November. So we're going to be really basically right there next week. And overall, not looking at any major events coming up in the forecast. So all in all, looking a little quieter out there. We've got clearing skies. It's just the wind that we've got to watch out for today and again on Friday. And then this weekend too, that possibility for a few areas of precip. Doesn't look like a washout and certainly doesn't look as frigid as what we saw this past weekend. So a nice little recovery going on here as we make our way through the week. So enjoy your weather here today. Enjoy that sunshine. We'll bring up our sky cam here for you so you can see just how nice and bright and sunny it is as we're looking over NDSU's campus and toward downtown Fargo. So again, thanks to our veterans on this Veterans Day. I hope you have a good day, and we will see you again tomorrow for an update on the forecast for this warming week and that possibility for some showers coming up.